guys, how's everybody doing? This is Daisy Maisie here with a very special guest for the first ever Thought Shots of a Pegasister. My name's Daisy Maisie and I'm here with my lovely sister, Sunny Day Cloud. Hi there! So, for this first Thought Shot, we figured since it's well into its way of Season 5, we talk about our feelings and thoughts of the first 4 seasons, before we moved on to Appaloosa's Most Wanted. So, what do you want to say first?
Well, we should probably start with the first season, and go on from there, and then talk about later what our favorite ones are?
Yeah, we'll go season by season and then talk about our favorites. Alright, so, what were your thoughts on Season 1?
Well, the first episode of Season 1 really caught my eye. Like, you know, it's the hook. It's what gets everybody interested. It was really amazing, and it kind of introduced how serious this show would later be. And
not serious in the matter like of an overarching plot, but how serious it takes itself. It's not like trying just to sell toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I grew up in the age of where toy sales were all that they cared about when making these shows, and it was kind of bad.
Yeah, like, I remember Disney Throwback Channel, for those who watch Disney Channel. They have all the old shows, and I remember when it wasn't just all the actors trying to be great singers. It's really concentrated on the message, not the image.
Yeah. And that's kind of a problem we face nowadays with so many TV producers and stuff just focusing on what they can get out of a show instead of creating something truly amazing that's going to catch people's attention for how wonderful it is instead of what it's going to produce later.
And that's what MLP didn't do, I guess. It created the message instead of concentrating on the image. It creates so much beauty. I love MLP so much.
Plus, first season introduced us to all of our favorite main characters. My personal favorite's Fluttershy, by the way.
Fluttershy.
So, what I liked about Season 1 was how it established everything, how it could keep us hooked throughout the whole entire season, and it left on a nice note. Plus, it had a bunch of the adventure aspects that was only really seen in the first generation of MLP, and it had a lot of slice of life. It knew when to balance, when to add the fantasy element, and it was just wonderful. Lauren Faust did a great job.
I'm glad that they included everybody. Like, you would think it would just show the main character, Twilight Sparkle, but it had a little bit of everything. It even had the Kingmark Crusaders, who you thought were just background characters, but they ended up being a huge part of what it is now.
I love the Kingmark Crusaders. So yeah, that's basically our thoughts on Season 1. It's a good establishing point. It really set the bar. But Season 2, on the other hand, pushed the envelope. I mean, first we have Discord, who, voiced by John Delancey, is just like one of the most greatest characters of all time.
Discord was awesome.
He's not my favorite villain. I'll get to that later, but he was like a step in the direction showing how epic and grand everything could be, and Season 2 just kept getting better and better and better, and kept drawing me in, and it was at Season 2 where I officially called myself a Brony.
I think Season 2, when they showed Discord, I really thought it was like, whoa, this show's getting, like, really good! Like, whoa! And, Discord was awesome. He's not my favorite. I don't know who is, but Discord, I like how he, continues on throughout the show, and they keep adding him in as an actual friend, not just a side character. He is, like, as much as a character is as Twilight is. and I really appreciate that they did that.
I like how he can kind of represent a younger mentality of friendship instead of kind of like what the other main stick represents, because Discord never really had a friend before, so to him friendship is all new, while the rest of the main stick kind of already had a grasp of friendship, you know, growing in a society that focuses so much on harmony and getting along with others. It just proves that Discord is a child at heart, and he's learning the basic lessons first.
He's like me.
So yeah, it ended with, was it the wedding? Yeah, it was like the wedding, right?
Wait, I thought season 3 was ending with the wedding.
Wasn't that Crystal Empire?
You might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the season finale was Canterlot Wedding, and then it moved into season 3 with Crystal Empire.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so Chrysalis was an interesting villain. Yeah, I liked her a lot. I mean, many people say that she was kind of an idiot with her whole plan of attack and stuff like that, but personally, I found it to be quite clever if you look at the smaller details. Josh Scorcher goes into great detail about this, but I had my own theory, where if Chrysalis had gotten shining armor, then A, she has a shield for wherever she's holding up at, and B, she knew that Cadence would eventually come after him, so that's 2 for the price of 1, instead of, you know, just pretending to be shining armor and influencing Cadence.
I thought her plan was brilliant, how weakening him slowly, and then taking the love that he had for Cadence out of advantage, which was clever in hindsight, but she probably should have hit herself a bit better.
Or, you know, you could go like Josh Scorcher's route in trying to separate Twilight from her friends, since they're the elements of harmony, you know. Anyway, you can check out his video if you want more information on that. Basically, what we're saying is that Season 2 left on a pretty good note. It was awesome. I personally like Cadence and Shining Armor. They're a cute couple. And, it led great into Crystal Empire, where we get more of this amazing world building and the Crystal Ponies, and it was just awesome and so much fan fiction fuel. Season 3 was kind of like that point where it's at the peak of quality for the time. It just kept getting better and better. And my favorite episode came from Season 3, but we'll get to that later when we're talking about favorites. Anyway, Season 3 kind of felt like this point where everything was just coming into its own. Characters were becoming more fleshed out, more detailed. They were starting to develop their own unique pathways, kind of like with Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts Academy. It felt like progress was made.
Most definitely, like, they never repeated the same exact lesson. They made up new lessons that kind of stand off from each other. Like, you have, like, the main branch of not accepting one another because they have a different idea of how things should be done. And then you have more separate twigs that go off further. More specific
things.
Yeah, like, in the newer Season 5, where Discord, gets jealous of Fluttershy because she has a new friend. We've already been introduced to something kind of like that before in,
Griffin the Brush Off.
Yeah, Griffin the Brush Off, but it kind of goes into more detail how different you can be.
Yeah, like, jealousy and stuff and personal emotions, qualms, are all different from each other in some sort of aspect, whether it just be setting or people, but it could also be on a more personal level, while Griffin the Brush Off was more on a more social level. But yeah, you saw a lot of that in Season 3, right?
Yeah, how they spanned into different directions, and I thought that was cool.
And then it ended with the greatest
awesome epicness! I was so glad with that episode.
Yeah, Magical Mystery Cure. Twilight Cord!
Woo woo!
Woo! And then we go into Season 4, which started off with the Return of Harmony? No, that's Season 2. I can't remember what it was called. It was a 2-parter about the vines.
Oh, yeah, yes. Tree of Harmony.
Tree of Harmony, that's right. And they gave up their elements, which shows a lot of maturity, showing that it wasn't the elements that brought them together, it's their characters that brought them together, and they really go into that further during there, especially with the key arc, which was a nice touch. Even if it was a bit segmented, I always felt its presence.
Yeah, that was definitely like that.
I mean, not every episode has to be so focused on, oh, we have to figure out how to open this box because that's the thing that's going to consume our lives. No, it's more realistic. I mean, if some challenge or some opportunity presents itself to you that's not in any immediate threat, then of course you're going to put that on the sideline a bit to more urgent matters, like what happens in the episode. We don't know what happens off camera. They might be still trying to figure out how to open the box.
And I like how, they don't know it's the keys, like, they later figure it out, but they all find something sentimental, like when she said, I think the keys are something valuable that we learned over the past whatever, when the box first appeared. And, I think it was really cool that they just, like, know what the sentimental thing, even if it was over a long period of time, it's somewhere in their hearts.
It's just something that they knew was special to them. You know, audiences pretty much figured out the key thing, like all these different objects with the rainbow pattern is clearly the thing of interest in regards to the box, but it still felt interesting. We all wanted to know how it would turn out. We wanted to know the significance of each item, how each one was going to be acquired. And once again, Discord is awesome in the season finale. And then there was that whole Dragon Ball Z style showdown with Tyrek. The stakes never felt higher than in that episode, because the villain was literally winning by that point. It wasn't just the beginning of, like, an evil reign or something like that. The villain had already won by the time the heroes were facing him.
And how she loses her library at the one part, I was about to cry. I was like, not the library! Not my books!
Not the books!
If my house was ever on fire, it hurts to know that my books would be gone. It's like, if they burn, I burn with them. And well, she had to give up her home, and that would be a terrible thing to do. Like,
you can understand her rage, is what you're getting at.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if someone burned down my house, I'd probably kill them.
Hopefully not that much murder, right? Anyway, so then Crystal Tree gives them back the house, which they go into detail with Castle Sweet Castle.
Yeah, which it was really cool to see, like, the new home.
Yeah, seeing a bit more inside the new Crystal Tree, seeing how memories are made through experiences, not just because of items inside.
Yeah, I really love the chandelier. Like,
that was a nice touch.
It was beautiful.
I loved it. So now we're on to season 5, working our way up.
The first episode.
With communist ponies. Right! Not really communism, more like a kind of equalization. I can kind of see where, what was her name? Starlight Glimmer? Yeah, Starlight Glimmer is coming from. It's like, if someone is better at you than something, then it doesn't really matter what your talent is, because they have that thing over you.
And I liked that, the utopia feel, that there is no such thing as a perfect utopia, even no matter...
It's always a dystopia.
Yeah, like, I did a utopia project back in school times. Well, I'm still in... You know what I mean! And, well, we did a utopia project, and no matter how hard I thought, there will be never a perfect utopia. We were reading The Giver in class.
Oh, that heartbreaking story.
Yeah, but, talking about utopia, it's like, what you think is perfect, it's not perfect to another person. It will never be perfect.
It's because we all have our own separate thoughts and feelings, which is why we have to, like, embrace our differences. Because only through acceptance do we find peace with each other. And that's kind of what Twilight was getting at before she was cut off by Starlight Glimmer in the most hilarious way possible. Quiet! It's like, Twilight, get off your soapbox.
It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where she's in the middle of her evil speech and they just shoot her.
Really picking apart the cliche there. But, yeah. It's like, through differences, we find our own strengths in each other, because we cover our weaknesses and improve our strengths together.
And it was really beautiful how they all released the cutie marks, and they all go back to the owners, and they're so happy that they're back. Like,
it's like a part of them was missing for so long. It's like in real life, how we're all put through the same amount of schooling, and we're all taught the same things, but throughout our entire school experience, there's always that thing missing until we finally discover what we want to do with the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, how do I explain this? When they got their cutie marks back, and they decided to help get the main sixes back, and Rainbow Dash says, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna let them get our cutie marks, this is so embarrassing," but it's not. It's like, you realize that people have special things that can help you through life, and they are all different that can help you.
You can always find faith in each other when we can learn to embrace each other, is basically it. Moving on to the rest of Season 5, we finally got the end to the three-parter of Luna's dream cycle, with a kind of Groundhog Day feel with Apple Bloom. And it came with the most beautiful lullaby ever. I love Applejack's lullaby.
It's beautiful. She sang it to me for like 3 days straight.
And now I'm on to Lullaby for a Princess, because you know that animation just barely came out. Go check it out. It's amazing. The guy did a really great job with it.
It really is beautiful. The feel to the season so far, I think it's really improving. Like I said, they're showing on new stuff. They're going in different directions and standing off of already done lessons. Like I said, with the Discord thing and stuff. And let me think. Oh, of course there was Griffin. The Griffin
episode that totally referenced Indiana Jones. I love that.
And they showed that even the most worst, horrible people can change. And once you know their background, it changes everything. Like, I thought it was beautiful that they had, her name's Grenda, right?
Gilda.
Gilda. And, how she has her problems at home, and you see why she was like that. And how Rainbow Dash was her very first friend, and she felt like Pinkie Pie and everybody else took her away, and that's why she was so mean. In my personal opinion. That's why
I never really hated Gilda. I always felt like there was something else, something that kind of made her the jerk she is, and Griffin the brush off, but seeing where she kind of came from, it makes sense. It's like growing up with that one friend that everybody dislikes because they seem so rough and gruff, and they came from the bad part of the neighborhood, but you know on the inside that they're a good person.
Exactly, like, they have a chance to change this.
Speaking of which, there was Appaloos's Most Wanted, which kind of touches on this. I know I was going to do a separate review for it, but screw it, we're already talking about Season 5, might as well go all out. So basically, I never really looked at the Cutie Mark issue too badly, because thinking about it on a more realistic scale, not everybody is going to have a eureka moment when discovering their talent. It could present itself in a mysterious way, because I'm thinking about, like, Applejack, and what was presented in the episode all the way in Season 1 of how she got her cutie mark. She didn't get her cutie mark because she realized that she could buck apples really well, that she could kick trees and apples would fall down really well. It wasn't that kind of eureka moment. It was a eureka moment of, the apple farm is where I belong because it's what makes me truly happy. And that's kind of how I think Troubleshoes got his cutie mark. He got his cutie mark when he was performing for the judges, and I think there was this thing inside of him that said, I love to make people happy. And that's when his cutie mark manifested as, you know, his bad luck makes him entertaining for others, but because kind of realized that my talent is to be klutzy and bad luck for the rest of my life, he kind of took it the wrong way for so long, and not until this moment did he realize that his cutie mark was meant to make people happy and not just to make his life miserable.
Yeah, totally. And it was like, whoa, just...
I know, I kind of went on a spiel there. I'm just thinking about Tommy Oliver and how he's like, oh, this totally goes against all the cutie mark rules, but no, he's the exception, not the rule.
Like, you gotta realize that once you find a talent, you don't exactly realize that at the very first moment you get a talent. Like, say you have a talent for juggling. You don't just realize you have a talent for juggling. You get over a period of time and realize that you like it. It's not just, I'm really good at this, I get an automatic talent for it. No, it's more like...
It takes hard work and dedication, and you have to love what you're doing.
And sometimes you don't realize it, like...
You don't realize that juggling was your talent, you just realize that...
You liked it.
Yeah, I like this, and I want to continue doing this, and it seems to make other people happy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, win-win situation.
So I guess we could talk about the episode before it. Well,
Tank for Memories was so sad!
I mean, there's the obvious, parroting every single one on the internet. Yes, it's going through the 5 stages of grief. I totally pointed that out when I was watching it for the first time with my lovely sister. And everybody has seemed to figure that out by that point, so I think we can gloss over it. Although, have to make special mention of that face that Rainbow Dash made when she was mad. I am not angry! Do I look angry? That was the best. The comedy was, like, really good. I love the facial expressions. The animators must have had a joy with that. And I also like how they... well, kind of made it clear that Rainbow Dash and Tank have really bonded since May the Best Pet win. Like, they're BFFs for Rainbow to get so broken up about her best friend having to leave for a while. I mean, if this was like death, like many people think, then yeah, I would totally understand where she's coming from, but since it's just for the winter, we can safely say that she just would feel lonely. And she hates being lonely, as was pointed out in Mysterious Mare-de-Well.
Yeah, I have experience with losing a friend. I've had a few pets that have died.
Yes, have I?
Well, yeah, we're sisters, of course. But I once had a best friend. Her name was Ashley. She lived right next door to me. Well, kind of. It was a house down. And
basically same block.
And she had to move away. Her house was bought out by the government, and they made a police station there. It was my favorite place to play, and I had to see my friend move away. I remember crying for about an hour, just because I wanted to see my best friend ever again. It's heartbreaking. Once in a while, I write her. And, well, used to. I can't remember the last time I did it, but...
Maybe you should get on that.
Probably.
Yeah, relationships are hard to keep after they're gone.
Yeah, and I could totally see why Rainbow Dash was crying, and how everybody got emotional, and even Applejack crying on the inside!
It's true.
And I know a couple people like that who cry on the inside, and anyway, it's just losing someone you care about, even if it's just for a winter, it hurts like heck.
It really hurts. And all these episodes are good in my opinion. I don't think there's ever been an episode that I flat out said, I hate this episode. This is a bad episode because of this, this, and this. I always found something
that was good.
For Tanks and the Memories, it reminded me of my own life and losing others that I've known over the years. And after Lucy's Most Wanted, again, I went on a whole spiel about that. So, basically, that's kind of what I want to do with the whole analysis thing, breaking it apart, relating it, and how, you know, interpretation, stuff like that.
I think the reason why I like any of the seasons at all and not think, oh, this is a totally kiddish show, it's because I can relate to almost every single episode in some way. I once abandoned a friend for another friend. I once had to choose between a huge life decision making between people. And it hurts. It's like, I can't do this. But things always work out for the better, and looking at these, I realize that I'm not the only one with problems, and that makes me feel better.
Thank goodness. Yeah, thank goodness. I'm not the only one with problems. So, what's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode would have to be probably bats.
You like bats?
I mean, I don't know, just off of my head, like, it's bad, just because, well, I could totally relate to, like, everybody else wanting to do one thing, even though I don't think it's the best idea.
Yeah, being pressured into doing something you don't think is right.
Exactly, and Fluttershy, who's my favorite character, I can relate to wanting something really bad, but nobody else thinks it's a good idea. And it's hard to fight for something when your best friend says it's not right.
Yeah, indeed. I was looking at the list. Apparently my favorite episode is not from Season 3. Sorry about that. Mine is from Season 2, and it's Hurricane Fluttershy by Cindy Morrow. Personally, I love Hurricane Fluttershy because I know how bad it is to let everybody down and feeling so insignificant with the amount of work you put in. Because, you just feel like everything you do is pointless. Like, it doesn't matter how good I am because I'm not as good as everybody else. I may have made improvements, but everybody is still so much better than me, and what am I actually contributing? And it made me feel better to see this episode and see how even a small amount of contributing can make the difference in the end.
We've been doing marching band for the school, for our high school, and we all know that if one person messes up, that you can see the entire thing mess up. But if you do it right and make your work hard, as our band director says, work hard!
I think you picked the microphone.
Probably. Sorry about that. That everybody's contributing helps. I cannot say that word with a light.
It's like mountains.
Mountains! It's a Utah thing, you wouldn't understand. Or maybe you do, but
just depends on whether you're from Utah or not. Anyway, marching band, if you don't contribute enough to it, then everything falls apart and everybody's brought down. But if you do put in your work and you contribute enough, then you can do amazing things.
It might not feel like enough, but when you try your hardest, when you do your hardest, you make something that's incredible to everybody. And they really see that, and it's with any sports team, really. I used to do softball, and she did too. And, we know how it is to do hard work. It burns and sweats, and you feel like you can't do anything for the most of the time. But then you start getting better, and then you start winning a game. Well, she didn't.
I lost the entire season.
But I won a couple of my games, and I know I worked hard enough to get that. And she did work hard. It's just some of her teammates didn't. It just happens. It's okay, Elena. But it's really awesome to work hard at something. I agree. That's a really good episode. I'm sorry I kind of rambled.
Alright, so favorite character. I already said Fluttershy, and now you know why.
I also like Fluttershy, but I don't know if I have another favorite. Like, out of the main six, like, not out of, like...
Out of the main six?
Yes, exactly.
Like, literal out?
Uh-huh, yes.
Out of the main 6, I'd have to say, do you have yours ready?
Kind of. I have a few.
Alright, I'll think about
This
mine.
is the order. Okay, so in like 3rd place I have Sweetie Belle, because I really love Sweetie Belle. Because, I mean, whenever there's a thing that the Cutie Mark Crusaders want to do, she's like, I don't think this is a good idea, guys. And they're like, let's do it! Okay, fine!
She's the most rational of the bunch.
She really is, and I can feel that because most of my friends are sometimes idiots. And so I have to knock them upside the head and say, you are not being smart! But sometimes the peer pressure is a good thing, like, I didn't want to go on a roller coaster for the longest time. And they're like, let's do it! And I'm like, I don't want to, let's do it! Fine!
It's like your friends push you to do things that are out of your comfort zone.
Which is a good thing sometimes. And, then 2nd, Doctor Who's, because I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, like, bow ties are cool. And, my favorite Doctor is the 10th one, I think. Matt Smith. Anyways, that's not important. That's unrelated. But I don't know. You never really see Time Turner at all. But when you do, I kind of like fangirl out. Like when the preview for the 100th episode and he speaks, I screamed like so loud. I think I hurt my sister's eardrum.
Yeah, it still hurts to this day.
Like I freaked out so much.
So I think I got a couple of characters.
And then my first and most favorite character is what's her name?
What's she like?
Like she's Daring Do.
Oh, Daring Do.
Just because I like J.K. Rowling, and that's kind of like J.K. Rowling.
Mixed with Indiana Jones.
Exactly. And I like her style, that she's totally like chill and stuff, and like when Rainbow Dash totally fangirls out when meeting her, I can relate, because like if I met one of my favorite celebrities, I would probably cry and break down. But
now you know how I'm gonna feel when I meet Dr. Wolf in July.
And well, now I lost my train of thought, but I like her. She's really nice, cute, and she has spunk.
She's she's a strong, independent woman who don't need help from no pony.
But then she ends up taking help, and I think that's kind of.
Alright, so I have a couple of them. Favorite CMC member? I have to go with Scootaloo, because she has. It's been hinted at that she has a disability, and I know how she feels. Yeah, I don't know if any of you knew this, but I do have a disability, and internet is prepared to troll lol. Yeah, it's a form of autism. Lol, yeah. An autistic person watches the show, not everybody does, so get off your high horse. No pun intended. But yeah, I like Scootaloo because she's struggling with a disability just like I am. But we're not going to let it keep us down. We're going to find our talents out there. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I like Truffle Shoes a lot. Enough said about that. Coco Panel was really cute. I would totally want to get like a little plushie or poster of her. She's adorable. Sunset Shimmer is another one of my favorites because she's like Luna, except reformed over the course of 2 movies instead of just 1.
Luna! Yes! Luna!
I like Sunset Shimmer because you really see how she's trying to make up for her past mistakes, and it really shows in the 2nd movie. And I also like, my favorite princess has to be Celestia, because I'm the older sister of the 2, and I know how she feels.
My favorite's Luna!
I like all the characters equally. Can I just say that?
Double the fun! Double the fun! The fun has been doubled.
Alright, favorite villain?
Oh, you go first if you have one.
Oh yeah, definitely has to be, from the movie. It is, the Dazzlings. For one, they're based off the sirens of Greek mythology, which I love Greek mythology. And secondly, their songs are wonderful. I think they manipulated everybody really well. They played on the emotions of the human six, and they were just, overall, I had never had so much fun watching a villain ever since Discord.
It reminds me of Mean Girls. Like, they're the popular chicks that everybody but nobody likes.
Yeah, except I like how they weren't just high school students. They had their own agenda outside of classes.
Exactly, that was good. My favorite villain would have to be, I really like Discord. I don't know why, but I do. He's like one of the very few villains that actually changes, and it kind of like makes me feel better that people do change, no matter how wicked or cruel they were. And I like how he's like about as old as time itself.
So he knows the smooths from Generation 1.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
Snoozy. And I like his development. Like, you expect his behavior not to change. Like, he's this chaotic weirdo. But I really like his relationship with Fluttershy. I think it's kind of cute. Even if they're not dating.
You ship them?
No, I mean...
I shipped Celestia in Discord.
Oh, that would be cute. I don't know. I haven't quite shipped them yet, but I think they would be cute if they were.
I don't know, they're two different species. It's kind of like Rarity and Spike.
It will never happen.
Speaking of our favorite little dragon, he's totally the best. He is underdeveloped. Writers, get on him.
I know, I like the comic book episode.
That's actually another one of my favorite episodes. What is it? Equestrians, that's it. That's like my second favorite episode after Hurricane Fluttershy, because, again, it goes to the whole inferiority complex that if you're not perfect all the time, then you just feel worthless. And it puts on another part, like, when you do something right, then you don't feel like it's a big deal, like it's not an accomplishment, it's just something that you feel you were expected to do. And that's kind of something I struggle with.
Oh, I like the episode, what was it called?
What season?
I don't even know. It was like, the dragon episode where he tries to find the other dragons.
Oh, Dragon Quest?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was Dragon Quest. And I like that episode a lot, too, with Spike in it. Because, well, it shows that no matter what you came from, because he was born and kind of raised with ponies, he wants to find out who he really is. And then he finds out that they're a bunch of jerks, and he realized that he was raised a good way, and so he comes back, and I thought that was really nice.
Aww.
And that peer pressure really like... peer pressure's an intense thing, guys.
Oh yeah. It's a powerful tool. Any final thoughts?
All the seasons are wonderful. I don't really have a favorite season, but I really liked, Bats, which was season 4.
Yep, season 4.
And, so I guess, if you could put in the category of most points, it would be season 4, but I really don't have a favorite season.
I love all the seasons equally, too, because you can just see how good the show has progressed over time. The animators have learned and really come to their own. They're having a lot more fun with facial expressions and stuff like that. Seriously, season 4 and 5, they've just gotten so outrageously wacky, it somehow fits.
It does. It really does.
I love the world building, all the creatures in it. It's a world I can get behind. And overall, I love My Little Pony. I can't wait to talk about it next week, about the Slice of Life.
Woohoo!
Get it? Slice of Life. They're making a reference to how people reference Slice of Life episodes.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, it was written by M.A. Larson.
Nice job, M.A. Larson.
Yeah, you have two fans who are not outraged by Twi'lethorn.
Oh, yep, that. I was like, wait, where is
Yes,
that?
as funny as everybody makes it, that everybody's just outraged that M.A. Larson is just in it for the money. No, we see where you're going. We like what you're doing. Keep at it, M.A. Larson.
She looks for other fans, not profits, guys.
I look for all the good stuff. I look at the good. I'm an optimist.
Woo!
Woo! Optimism for the win. Always find the good before you look at the less than desired. So, with that said, I've been Daisy Maisie, and this has been...
My Little Pony.
No, I was referring to your name.
Oh, and Sunny the Cloud. But you can call me Sunny.
And this has been Thought Shots of a Pegasister. This has been over 40 minutes long. Oh jeez.
Oh, right.
I expect a still image. Sorry, guys. I'm not doing facial expressions for 40 minutes. Well, see ya.
Bye.